Good morning everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel where today we're going to do something a bit different. I don't get to talk about this much here, but like everyone else, I have wishes of stuff that we'd like to see in LEGO one day as sets or as ideas or stuff. And so what I've done today is I've put together a list of 13 dream LEGO sets and then a couple of figures that I'm absolutely desperate for on the end as well. And well, we're going to count down. We're going to take a look at it, and I'm going to get to share a bit about my LEGO tastes, really, if you guys didn't really know who I am. So, here we go. So, starting at number 13, we're going to start off with a Disney-based set, which is Epcot from Spaceship Earth. And I don't really know how likely this one is. To be honest, I don't see how they could turn it into a set. I'd just love to see them try. They did such a good job with the Disney Castle, and ever since then, before my Zelda showcase, I was actually going to do a Disney Park showcase with stuff like It's a Small World and Epcot. So, this is definitely one I'd love to see. I particularly love this picture on the right where it's all glowy, so maybe they could do something like that. It feels very possible with like the triangular small pieces. I'm particularly thinking of the square pyramidal piece introduced with Nexo Knights back in the day, and well, if it had a monorail or spaceship Earth inside it, and oh, I'd just love to see them attempt this ball. It looks boring, but it's so interesting. Honestly, pretty unlikely though. Coming in at number 12 is another odd pick. I may be in the minority, but I'm one of the people that actually really like the Lego Movie too. And one thing that I'm really sad that we never got to see a play scale representation of is the cake from the wedding, which is such a colourful scene with so many interesting characters that I think it would have been a great rounding out piece to the wave. In the picture above, you can obviously see you've got your main characters and stuff, and some variants we never got, particularly the Bachelor Batman with cape. But so many Fabuland people, it would have been awesome to see a modern take on Fabuland, or even just a couple more of the Duplo or guards or some other characters. You can see some DC ones there. I just think it would have been a lovely set that could have an amazing play feature with the explosion, and I was really sad that they never bothered to interpret such a big set piece from the movie. However, now the movie's over and it didn't perform hugely well, the chance here is near impossible, but nothing to stop me dreaming. Down at number 11, we have something which you're not going to be able to tell easily from the pictures, and this is a log flume. Now, this is a Fairground Creator Expert set, which I actually set about designing, but if you're going to do log flume, you can't just do a boring log flume. This is a log flume that has to be motorized in style of the Creator Expert rides. You know, the Fairground Mixer, Ferris wheel, roller coaster, they all work. So, why a Lego log flume? Well, I think the answer is because it's crazy difficult to do, and I would love to see the Lego magic put into it. In my head, I had a storybook themed ride, as you can see across these pictures. You can see the mini drop was themed after the little engine that could. You've got the gingerbread man on the far right just before you climb up to the big drop, a dragon and the Sleeping Beauty thimble at the top, and then also a Humpty Dumpty wall segment and a hooker duck store, which is actually where my hooker duck mock comes from. If you haven't checked that video out, I fully suggest it's well worth it. And this is actually a design I started making and then failed to make, but it's still something I'd absolutely love to see. I often talk about the Lego magic here on this channel, and well, I'd love to see the Lego magic of a log flume. Coming in at number 10, we have something from Harry Potter, and I really hope that we actually do see this one probably next year. Now, Harry Potter's been going through the years of the movies fairly regularly, bar this 20th anniversary year, so I would love to see some Deathly Hallows sets next year, and for the Hogwarts part of that wave, I believe it should be the courtyard and viaduct bridge, which is where a large proportion of the battle at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2 takes place. I love the architecture. Don't know why I want a Lego courtyard, but I do. I really, really do. We've seen this one in the micro scale, obviously without the viaduct bridge, because in that set it goes across the chasm, which is another variation. But I'm specifically talking about the variant that goes out into the Scottish Highlands, which you can see in the top right, where it's going off away from the Great Hall. But I just love it as a location. I think play features, minifigures, and possibly Big Fig Troll would be awesome. And it's a part of Hogwarts we've never had before, and that I'd like to add to my collection, as long as it has the green roofs. Number 9 is a set that came very, very close to actually happening, and that is the Ideas food stalls, which got 10k on Lego Ideas a couple of years back now, and then failed to pass review. And for the life of me, I really cannot work out why. They're literally perfect for Ideas. They're a small piece that would be desirable and could buy, and I think they look great in a theme park, to be honest. They look so perfect. I really have nothing else to say apart from why didn't this happen? I'm really sad about it. Unfortunately, now it will never happen unless they get selected for Brooklyn Gayfall Designer Program. But I'm just really happy that they will exist because I really like the idea, and one day I hope I can make a version like them if Lego won't do it for me. Coming in at number 8, we have the DNA helix, and I've got two different reference images on here. One is a Lego Ideas project from the left, which very well could actually happen, and that would be great, especially with that lovely Lego magic once again. However, when I think about a DNA helix, really I think I want to do my own version unless Lego actually does one. So if this Ideas one does not come to fruition, expect to see a mock series on the channel about it later in the year, probably, or maybe next year. On the right, we have Mr. DNA from the Jurassic Park universe and his Lego representation from the video game. And I always loved that this guy was included in the video game, and he's something I'd like to see in a large-scale form. Maybe even Lego-ized. You know, we've just seen this giant Harry and Hermione statue appear. Why not Mr. DNA? Bit of an obscure character, not loved by many, but one I certainly want to see or attempt to do in a large scale at some point in the future. Although maybe that transparent head's a bit much on the hard side. Number 7 is back to the Creator Expert theme park again, and I really don't understand why we haven't got a smaller set, maybe branched under Creator or City, that's just a theme park entrance. Now, not like a dodgy little build or your 3 in 1 third tertiary build nonsense. I want one that is in the style of the Creator Expert sets, but because it's only an entrance, it would only have to cost about £50. So I want proper stalls, a ticket booth, maybe a shop. I particularly highlighted this area from the front of Legoland because I would love it if we got this or a Lego theme park version of it in a set form. I just think it's great. Now, I don't want this to be Legoland branded. I know I'm confusing you with Legoland images on the screen. I want this to be branded under the Creator Expert Park, so the park that you go in where you find the roller coaster and the haunted house, Man of Baron, and stuff like that. But I want it to be based off a real theme park entrance. It's such a cheap set that I think would get so many people in because we have all these rides, but no entrance or shop to go to them. They're just the perfect little additions to make our theme parks even better using official sets. Not to say I can't mock one, but the official one's always better in my opinion. Number 6, we have Flying Dutchman from Pirates of the Caribbean, and it really baffles me beyond end how we have never ever seen the Flying Dutchman. It's probably one of the more iconic Pirates of the Caribbean ships, and it's in 3 of the movies, and it has my favourite Pirates character, Davy Jones, as its captain for 2 of them. So this is definitely not about seeing a new Davy Jones minifigure that I can get my hands on cheaper than £40. But the boat itself looks great. I would love to see more of his crew or a feature where it splits in half. And this one goes back a long way with me. I started making this mocks as soon as I started watching the Pirates of the Caribbean movies back in the day. Like, oh, I can't remember how young I must have been back then, but it's one of my first mocks that I'm sure we'll take a look at on the channel one day. And I definitely want to revamp it and make it a bit more beautiful. I'd really love to see this ship. It's honestly so special to me, and I'd really love to see the Pirates of the Caribbean ship trilogy rounded out with the Dutchman. Before we go and take a look at the top 5, I thought it was prudent to point out that not all of my wishes are just wishes. So we're going to look at some sets that actually did get remade or got released that I have been desiring for a very long time. So, being a collector of the 2010s Harry Potter sets, I was around for the 2010 rave. I have the Hogwarts and the Hogwarts expansion from that wave, but the ones that I missed out on back in the day was the Hogwarts Express. And once Harry Potter retired in 2011, well, I kind of just thought that was it. You know, there's not going to be any more Harry Potter, the movies are over, the books are done, they won't ever revive it. So when the 2018 Hogwarts Express came around and looked 1,000 times better, well, I was very excited, and it was definitely an immediate purchase for me. I just love that one so much more, and the fact that you can almost motorize it, and the stations included instead of the Flying Ford Anglia. Well, it's just a much better set, and I never in 1,000 years would have thought they would have actually released it. Just one of those subtle ones that actually came true, that was a nice smile on my face. Next up, we have the Indominus Rex versus Ankylosaurus from Jurassic World. Now, the Jurassic World movie is probably my favorite in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movie franchise, definitely out of the five. And, well, I remember back in the day when the game came out, well, the movies and the game, the Lego game in particular, and this scene being one of the most influential in the movie and the game for me was the gyrosphere station, and then you'd go around and explore, and there'd be Ankylosaurus and the Indominus Rex. And when I was a bit younger and we saw 2015 sets, yeah, I loved the enclosures, but I was kind of sad there was no gyrosphere building, especially after it being in the game and exploring this building. I always thought it'd be perfect for a set. So to see the building come apart, along with another gyrosphere, exactly how I envisioned, but then also with an actually accurate Indominus Rex, which I love as a mold, and the Ankylosaurus, which was a brand new dinosaur with a cool play feature. Oh, this set was great. I'm really pleased this got made. I mean, even the trees and the sign, I love it all. And having the full cast of the first movie, it's the perfect love letter for me in the first movie, to be honest. And I really loved its inclusion, especially as a theme park collector as well. Having this as an almost complete ride would allow me to add a gyrosphere ride to a theme park, and I really appreciate that. So I was so shocked and so pleased when this set got announced. As for one final set that I actually got lucky with, this was the Gingerbread House, and I think I've mentioned this a couple of times on the channel before, but ever since the limited edition 2015 Gingerbread House and the Series 11 Gingerbread Man minifigure, well, I have been desperate for more Lego Gingerbread. Not just more Gingerbread minifigures, but the Gingerbread House in general, especially after seeing this amazing middle picture, which was an ideas mock that got to 10k way back in the day, and I was so desperate for this to become a set. I mean, of course it wouldn't, because they wouldn't produce a Winter Village set from ideas. That's fairly obvious. But that doesn't stop me loving the set. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. I may even still try to make this one day. It looks amazing. Particularly love the swirls on the front and the roof. So when Lego announced their own one, you can't help being a bit disappointed in comparison to the way that the mock one looks, but it's really grown on me, and I absolutely love the set. It's probably my second favourite Winter Village set ever, only being pipped by nostalgia by the Santa's Workshop set, and I love the minifigures inside. The Gingerbread Lady was definitely my favourite minifigure of 2019. And oh wow, it's just a great set with so many details, techniques, and it's gorgeously coloured. And I just love the Lego Gingerbread Man, so what more could I have asked for? I've been waiting for this for so long. If this hadn't been made, this probably would have been one of my top two sets on this list today. But back to the actual list, and coming in at number 5 is the Lego Adventurers theme rebooted. And on the right over here, you can see a gorgeous mock that's on ideas of what would happen if you took the Adventurers philosophy, play features, and design and used all those modern pieces 20 years later with all those lovely colours like teal and some updated minifigures as well, which you can see my renditions of off the left. For those of you who didn't know, recently on the channel I did a series where I remocked the police station modular into an Adventurers Club HQ. I drew a lot of figures for that, put a lot of references in, but before that even I was a big fan of the Adventurers theme, and I love everything it stood for, particularly all of its play features. And what I think really stands out about people using Adventurers in the modern day is they're not afraid to go for the colours and the big pieces, like the beautiful teal you can see on the roofs there. Oh, and the whole reason this is here is because of how lush it would be. It'd be one of the best original themes to bring back, because unlike the 2010's Pharaoh's Quest, it wouldn't have to be gritty and edgy. You could just go lush, jungles, so many play features. Oh, I get excited just thinking about it. As far as original themes go, Adventurers was just great, and I would love to see a reboot with all those modern techniques and pieces. Number 4, we have a bit of an odd pick, and this is a Lego Store modular. And personally, I believe that this one is probably a lock to happen. I assume that if they ever finish the modular line, this would be the last ever modular that they would do. However, saying that, I'm pretty sure a Lego Store modular just appeared on the A4 Designer Program Second Chance, meaning that Lego's probably never ever going to do it. But beside that point, it doesn't stop me wanting one or choosing to make one. Lego love their modular buildings, and they're the company behind the buildings. So why wouldn't you do a Lego store which could have some amazing exclusive prints, micro builds? I just get my mouth watering at all the exclusive printed tiles that could be in there. I love the VIP set with all of those little tiles on there, and they were stickers. Now, if we think to the Daily Bugle, this has a set of 25 printed tiles, and with videos proliferation as well, there's nothing to stop them doing a Lego Store modular that just comes with a bag of printed sets, and I love little macro references like that. Now, hopefully it would be a bit better than the one on the left, preferably with a second floor, maybe model after the Lego London Leicester store, but I'd love all of the little exclusive references, and as a Lego fan, it would be amazing to have a Lego Store modular. Number 3 is another reboot, and this one is for LEGO Lord of the Rings, one of the most fan-requested comebacks in the LEGO universe. And it doesn't even have to be a long comeback like Harry Potter. I would settle for one great wave. Now, I put a couple of my favourite sets up here on the right. That would be Tower of Orthanc, the Smorg from Hobbit, and then the Orc Forge as well, all of which sum up perfect moments. But as far as I'm concerned, we could only get one set and I would be happy, and that would be a Nazgul with a proper Witch King. We'll come back to the Witch King later on in this video, but I need a Nazgul set. You don't even have to give me Minas Tirith, just give me the Nazgul from outside and a bit of Osgiliath ruins. There's so much they didn't cover with the movies originally, not to mention the extra content from the books. I'd love to see a CMF, even though that's pretty unlikely, but now with this 18 plus theme, we could see some helmets, which would be amazing. I've done a Witch King helmet myself. I'd love to see a map in the style of the world map or Artem's Middle-earth project, which, I'd settle for a Lord of the Rings Ideas project either. I would just love to see a comeback in any way, even if it's just for a small time, to miss out on some of those crucial elements that we missed, whether it's some more detailed printing, some updated builds, a Balrog, Nazgul, Minas Tirith, D2C. Oh, can you imagine if they did the Eye of Sauron Tower as a D2C, like a proper big one? Mount Doom, that is a playset. Cirith Ungol. Cirith Ungol is one that I'd love to see, even though it's a pretty dodgy one. Or even just reboots like Harry Potter. I would love to see a new Smorg, Shelob. Those would be great. A new Helm's Deep. I missed out on the old one. Some battle packs, some more Ents. That would be great as well. Oh, there's so much they could cover. I mean, admittedly, not as much as some other themes, but I'd love to see a comeback all the same. Number 2, we have a large-scale minifigure supermarket. And this is going to be a bit confusing to understand, but not the Quickie Mart. I want not necessarily a modular, but a large minifigure scale supermarket full of pieces like the cornflake piece on the right, which is my all-time favorite Lego piece. I love that piece so much. I just love seeing Lego food. The Quickie Mart was a great start, but I don't love all the Simpson references. I'm not a fan of the show, couldn't care less. But the care they put into that, I want a minifigure scale supermarket. There isn't one of these dodgy Friends ones that has references like the cornflakes or the Cheerios or the Pixie Puffs from the Hogwarts set. It would be such a colourful treasure trove. Oh, the absolute options. You could have a bakery section. Oh, there's so much. I really can't explain it, but I really want a supermarket. I want it to be big and I want it to be good. And I want it, most importantly, to contain cornflakes. And it would not take much of a guess to guess what my number 1 pick for favourite set would be. It's got to be Lego Zelda. I need these in my life. Over the last year, you guys have watched me create almost 50 custom sets, or, well, soon to be 50, and it doesn't get any easier to ask myself why we haven't seen them. They're a perfect match. Nintendo's brand values and Lego's brand values collide perfectly. We've had Mario. Zelda's so much more colourful. There's a variation. There's more set pieces. The level design is so much more open. It suits the Lego action-adventure genre so perfectly. There's 18 plus options, CMFs, polybags, and I have 9 waves totaling more than 150 set ideas planned already. And I'm not even a design expert. This is the perfect combination that we need to see even if it's just for the figures. Oh, can they hurry up with this one, please? I'm dying over here. So, I'm actually going to split this video here. We're starting to drag on a bit, and I'm pretty sure the audience is going to get a bit bored. So, let me know what you guys thought down below, and remember to tune in very soon for the minifigure half of this list, if you enjoyed any of this whatsoever. But let me know some of your dream sets down below in the comments, and consider subscribing so you don't miss out. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.